everyone. My name is Kathleen. This is my Trodden Trail. Today is Tuesday, the 28th of January, 2025, and you are very welcome here this morning. Fully realizing that it may not be morning when you're watching this, but it is morning for me. In fact, I had to move over, I don't know, about 3 feet because the sun came up over the hill and was super bright, super bright. So I don't know, I think I'm safe where I am, but I may have to move over just a little bit more as we go along. Let's see, what do I have for you today? It's been about 3 weeks, I think, since my last video, and I don't know, this is video like 100 and something or other, early 100s. I'll try to put it in the description, but it's, you know, we're like around 10 something, or I don't know, 110, I don't know, somewhere around there. It doesn't really matter, and you don't really care. Let's see, what do I have for you today? I have some FFOs that I don't have here with me, but so I'll insert some pictures of those. I have WIPs, projects that I've been working on. It's been a strange month. On one hand, I feel like January has gone by in the blink of an eye, and on the other hand, I feel like it has taken an age to get through January. I don't know. It's just been a really, really strange month. I have a little something to talk to you about today, or mention. I don't want this to in any way be a lecture, but I've made a decision about something that I want to kind of share, I guess is the best way to say it, on my videos, after a lot of thought and a lot of prayer about whether or not I wanted to do this. I've decided that if I want to be genuine with you all, which I do, and I've been very open about my life and you know, kind of my feelings about kind of life in general, that it's really tough for me to get on here and never say a word about the political atmosphere, the political arena, politics in the United States. When I watched my last video back, I found myself disappointed that I was not brave enough to share at least a little bit of my feelings with you. And really, it's not my feelings that matter in this. It's what I believe to be my obligation as a citizen of the United States, my obligation as a citizen of the world, to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, and to speak out when things aren't right. And I fully understand and recognize that most of you don't come here, probably none of you come here for politics, right? This is an escape. Stitching for most of us is a way to escape, a way to, you know, get away from it all. But the situation in our country right now is so in your face, I guess is the best way to say it, that I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I spend a lot of time mulling over what I can do, you know, what positive impact I can make. And in that vein, you know, I think we all have, I mean, there are millions of floss tubes to watch, and I don't have that much of a following. because I haven't, been really super consistent with my floss tube videos. So, I have a little over 2,000 viewers and, probably only 20 or 30 really consistent regular viewers. And so I realized that nobody wants to come here and, hear negative things, right, on either side. There's obviously two different sides. We're a two-party system in our country. There's two sides, and then there's sides of those sides, so there's, right, center, and left of both sides. And so, and everybody has a right to their own opinion, and everybody has a right to speak out about their opinion. I believe that as humans, even though we have a right to speak out, it's probably not the most effective thing to speak out in a negative way, right? Or to speak out so that you're hurting someone else. But that's my belief, and that not everyone believes that, and I can't expect everyone to believe the same things that I do or feel the same way that I do. We all come to this, world in life with various experiences and various backgrounds and all of that good stuff. So, there's lots of different ways of looking at things. And so what I've decided to do, to not turn this into a political thing, one of the things that I've been realizing of late, really for a while now, is that I don't really have a good handle on history. And I was born, in 1967 and grew up in the, went to school in the 70s and 80s, and I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I went to an all-girl Catholic high school. I grew up in a very, very Republican, conservative Catholic family. I can honestly tell you that from the earliest age of hearing, and my dad was very involved in politics, like local politics, and very vocal about his beliefs. I did not agree with him. From as early as I can remember, I was not a conservative. I was not a Republican. I'm a conservative person, and I would venture to guess, because I've had people comment to me this before, that up until this point, if you would have had to take a guess at what I was and you didn't know me, you would have said I was a conservative and I was a Republican. I'm not. I'm a Democrat. And I would say I'm a kind of middle of the road Democrat. But I have a ton of Republican friends. I have a ton of conservative or liberal, progressive, whatever, word you want to call it, Democratic friends. And I love them all. I don't always understand the other side's perspective, but I try to. And I know that there are good people on both sides of the aisle, and I know there are bad people on both sides of the aisle. So all that being said, what I want to do, so I one of the earliest books actual chapter books that I remember reading, and I know I read other books before this because I'm sure this wasn't available, but I found this in the school library. But one of the very first books I read was The Diary of Anne Frank. And I loved it, and I was fascinated then by, Anne Frank and her family and people who were, victims of the Holocaust. And, but what I've kind of come to realize is that I didn't really, learn a whole lot. I was not interested in history growing up, and I know I had history classes, and I probably learned a lot more than I remember, but I have been trying to re-educate or educate myself in matters of history that I think are relevant today. And so one of the things that has been coming up in our news lately is the story or the history of the Tuskegee Airmen. And so what I thought I would do is each video, I'm never gonna go into this depth about it again, because what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna do, for my benefit and anyone else that's interested, just a little tiny bit of history. Okay, just a little tiny bit of history that I decide I find interesting. If you're not interested in it, you are more than welcome to fast forward, obviously. You are more than welcome to unsubscribe and walk away. I'm gonna ask you not to leave negative comments. I don't think anyone will. I'm gonna ask you not to say, I don't come to this channel for politics or history or whatever. If that's not why you're here and this is a big turnoff to you, just unsubscribe and walk away. If you leave a negative comment, I'm just gonna delete it. I've had negative comments from friends and family and, different people about politics, about way more intense issues. And, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't mean anything. But I do believe very strongly that if we don't understand history, and if we don't understand what happened in our past, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and if we try to eliminate that or get over that without making amends and doing better, then we're doomed. I really believe that humans are here to grow and become better and be, and I'm a Christian. And I believe that, our whole lives are spent trying to be better Christians. But if we don't understand what happened in our past, I think we're doomed to repeat it. So I'm gonna just do a little history. Now, I'm not gonna give the lesson. I'm gonna read the story, and then we'll go on and we'll do cross stitch and crafting and all of that good stuff. And no one will be none of us are going to be worse off from reading the story of what today it's the Tuskegee Airmen. And maybe it makes us a little bit better. Maybe we understand something a little bit better, or we can see the other side. We can see another perspective. I don't know why I'm getting choked up about this. We can see another perspective in this, and it will make me feel like a more genuine person here on FlossTube. I don't have to share all my political beliefs about things. I don't have to tell you how I felt about the election. You can probably figure that out from what I've said so far. That's not necessary, right? I don't have to lecture you. There's no point in any of that. And but there's no harm in just getting and just reading about something from the history of the United States. Okay, so again, if you're not interested, this is going to take maybe 2 minutes, probably not even that long. If you're not interested, fast forward, delete, whatever you want to do here, and then we'll go on after that, and life will be grand. So okay, the Tuskegee, really hard for me to say, Airmen, was a group of primarily African American military pilots, fighter and bomber pilots, and airmen who fought in World War II. They formed the 332nd Fighter Group and the 477th Bombardment Group of the United States Army Air Forces. So my brother was, and not in World War II, in Vietnam, was a naval airman. So he was in the Navy, but he flew and military planes in the Navy in Vietnam. So this is interesting to me just because my brother, for one reason, because my brother was an airman and I have a cat up here. The name also applies to the navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, crew chiefs, nurses, cooks, and other support personnel. I thought that was interesting. Nurses. The Tuskegee Airmen received praise for their excellent combat record earned while protecting American bombers from enemy fighters. The group was awarded 3 Distinguished Unit citations. There are books on them. They were active 1940 to 1948. They were the part of the United States Army Air Corps, United States Army Air Forces, and United States Air Force. So there were kind of 3 branches of our military that they were part of. The role that they played was fighter, escort, and bomber. And their nicknames were the Red Tails and the Red Tail Angels. And their motto was Spit Fire. All black military pilots who trained in the United States trained at Greil Field, Kennedy Field, Moulton Field, Shorter Field, and the Tuskegee Army Airfields. They were educated at the Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, located near Tuskegee, Alabama. Of the 922 pilots, 5 were Haitians from the Haitian Air Force, and 1 pilot was from Trinidad. It also included an airman born in the Dominican Republic and 1 born in Jamaica. And then it goes on, and there are books and all kinds of things. The reason I picked this was because I had heard that as of last week, the Tuskegee Airmen story was no longer being allowed to be taught to our new servicemen entering into the military. That it was a class that had been given, I think, to the Air Force, or maybe it was the Army, I don't remember, but that they were taking away that class. They were no longer going to teach people the history of the Tuskegee Airmen. And I don't think it was like a whole class, but I think it was, just part of their training. And so I wanted to bring it, talk about it and bring it to the forefront because I think it's an important part of our history. I learned today that did happen last week. It was removed. It has been re-implemented. As of today, it's again being taught. The story behind it is being taught. It has not been taken away. So I was very happy to hear that. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm done with that. Next time we'll do a different little something about history. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed that. And, next time I won't get all blah about it and worked up and all that good stuff. And we'll just go on from here. And that makes me feel better that I could share that with you and kind of be a more genuine person. Okay, let's go on. So I'm going to insert here. I have, 3 FFOs. One of them, I'll insert a better picture, but you can see back here, this is the Be Mine banner. This was not this Saturday, but the Saturday before, which I don't remember what the date would have been. I happened to tune into Stitching with the Housewives early in the morning on Saturday and saw that they had already posted their video of the week, and Priscilla had done this, and this was a new chart in their Etsy shop. And she had talked about, I started it one morning or one night and worked on it for a couple hours one night and then finished it the next day. Worked on it from like 6 in the morning until midnight and finished it the next day. And her finish is a little bit different than this, but I came up with this idea for this finish, and I love this. So then I decided, oh, I need a bunch of stitched banners here because Valentine's Day is going to be over on February 14th. And then I'm going to need, you know, a spring banner. And then I'm going to need an Easter banner. And I'm going to need something for the summer. And so I ended up buying a lot of her other letter type, you know, she's got quilter, she's got, I think cross stitcher, she's got bunnies, just a bunch of different word art so that I could make my own banners using her letters. And I think that's okay to do. If that's not okay to do, you guys let me know, but I did purchase all of the charts. Yeah, and so it was a lot of fun. She used the 3.5-inch rounds, and so I ordered those from Fat Quarter Shop and ordered extras. And then I used just some pieces of cardstock that I had to create hearts, and then covered those with fabric, and then put the, you know, the letters on those. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, it took me more than 2 days, but of course I didn't work on it from 6 to midnight or whatever. But it really does go pretty fast, and, you know, kind of fun. If you have a strand of thread and say you finish the B, well, then what I would do is just start on the E with that strand of thread and finish out that strand of thread, and then go back and do the, you know, the other color on the letter. Each of the letters is done in 2 different colors. I used what I had, and it's a pink and a white, and on some black Aida. So that is, yeah, those are those. So so that was one finish. And then I FFO'd the Cottage Temperature, the Fat Quarter Shop 2024 Cottage Temperature piece that I finished. And so I'll insert a picture of that here. And then I also finished, or FFO'd, the Kind Fierce Brave for Maddie. And then I will wrap that up. Her birthday is tomorrow. She'll be 25 tomorrow. And then I'll wrap that up for her. She'll be home this weekend, and we'll celebrate her birthday this weekend. So, and then my friend Jen at Jen's Stitching Niche decided, crazy person that she is, to sell some of her stitched pieces. And I happened to be, I think, watching her video, and she had talked about, she had some stitched pieces that she was never going to put up, and so she had put them in her shop, and they were for sale. And I think I bought 5 of her pieces because, number one, having Jen's stitching in my house, which I do have some of Jen's stitching that she's gifted to me, but having her immaculate stitching in my house, and then she had 2 mirrors that she had stitched and wasn't going to hang. And she had a Halloween piece, and I'm trying to think what else, a couple other smaller pieces, and I bought those as well. So I FFO'd for now the 2 mirrors. So these I used frames that I had. I don't think either frame is exactly right, and so I'm on the hunt for better frames. But I'm going to go ahead and insert pictures of both of these. I don't know what they're called. I don't know. One of them is, I think, a petal fairy, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but they're just stunning, absolutely gorgeous. And I have them framed and up in my sewing room. And at some point in time, I think they can definitely go on the fairy tale wall. But I think they would look a little bit funny down here right now, so with nothing else on the fairy tale wall. So I'll insert pictures of both of those here, and if anybody needs to know, you know, what charts those are, let me know, and I will go on a hunt, because I know I have it written down somewhere. Okay, so other than that, I think I did not have any other finishes. I've done a little bit of crochet. I don't think I've done any knitting since I last saw you. I'm so hit or miss with knitting. I love to knit, but it's something that doesn't always strike me. I've been really thinking a lot about rug hooking lately, but I haven't gotten anything out to do that. So somewhere here I brought over. So I started out the month super, super excited, and you know, I'm fine with this. And I knew this was going to happen. I started out the month with three different things, 2 different WIPGO charts, or WIPGO boards, I guess you would call them, and 1 Bringo board. And for I think 18 straight days, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, for 18 straight days, I did Bringo every single day except for 1. I forget which day I missed that. One of the days I never got to it, and I don't remember what day it was, but it was later in the month. And then around the 18th of January, I decided that I was going to get off of all social media, or the only social media I was on at the time was Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And I made a decision, yes, because of politics, that I was done with Facebook and Instagram. So I got completely off, and so if y'all need to get a hold of me here. And I can also give you at some point my email address. You cannot reach me on Facebook or Instagram direct messaging anymore. So the downside to that is how Bringo is called. The daily Bringo is on Facebook. So once I was completely off of Facebook, I couldn't get the calls for Bringo anymore. So, so Bringo had to end at that point. But for 18 straight days, except for 1, I was successful at doing either 1 hour or 100 stitches of various projects, and I mostly used my WIPGO projects. But I worked on everything from the Gentle Rain to a new, I wonder if that's here. I have a new start, a new full coverage start, to a Valentine piece, to Multiply Kindness, to all different stuff. So I worked on a lot of different things, and that was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. As far as WIPGO goes, I was successful, and I still have a couple days left. I finished the first WIPGO call, which was Kind, Fierce, Brave, and finished that and FFO'd it, and that'll be gifted this weekend. I have yet to work on the other, I have yet to work on 2 of the others. I have yet to work on the Inn at Fox River, the 4 Seasons, but I have worked considerably on Alice in Wonderland. So that's in here in my WIPs, and I will show you those. The first thing I did have another new start, for something that I want to do for a friend who has a birthday in a couple of weeks. And so I am not going to be able to show you that, I don't think. Yeah, I better not. So I will probably just work on that here until I get it done, and hopefully get it FFO'd and sent off for her birthday. So I'd been going back and forth for months about what I wanted to stitch for her, and decided to sit down with my iPad and go through all of my purchased PDFs, and I immediately found something and thought, oh, that is exactly, sorry, this is Augie Boy. He's a love. He just wants to cuddle. He either wants to cuddle or he wants to go outside. Augie came to us, I think 2 years ago now, and we really tried to make him an indoor cat, and it's been all but impossible. He is always in at night, and we're supposed to have a record-breaking 59 degrees today, and so he's in a lot. He's in some during the day. When it's cold, he's in all day long, but he's in some during the day, and he is always in at night. But yeah, it's been impossible to turn him into a full-time indoor cat. So, but he's a love. Okay, so I can't show you the new start, but hopefully that'll be done in the next time that I film. that will be done. I'm pretty sure I showed you the the 2025, what is this called? I'm sorry, I just look at my card. The 2025 temperature, it's probably a SAL, I don't know. But it's the 2025 temperature chart. It's by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count Cedar River, and I started this on January the 8th. And I think I showed you a picture of it last time. And of course, as per norm with me, nothing is ironed. This is a beautiful chart. If you go to Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts on Etsy, you can find this. It has kind of 4 quadrants with all of the seasons. This is the winter quadrant with the cardinal and starts with January. And so it's a, winter, spring, summer, fall kind of situation. And yeah, and so I have most of, January almost caught up. It's been cold. Oh my goodness, has it been cold here? Really, really cold. In the low, we've had a few days of negative, a couple days of like a high of -2, and a lot of days of like a high of 10. So it's been, and that's Fahrenheit, so it's been pretty cold. But anyway, got the cardinal done, and a little bit of this up here, and yeah. So I did do some work on that, and that's one that's not really on WIPCO, just needs to kind of get done as we go. Have not done much on my blessing sampler that I was doing kind of with Darlene. But I have a little bit done on it, and I have worked on it some, just not a whole ton. Just picked some, I felt like working with silks, and just picked some silks that I had on hand. It's a pink, the color's not really showing up. It's lighter than it's showing up. But yeah, so it's, it's coming along. It's not going to be finished by the end of January, and I hope that's not like a bad thing. I don't know if, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. So, and then I got a hankering to work on Valentine things. I have the February, what is this, monthly weigh-in from Stitching with the Housewives, and I got a little bit of a start on that. I really wanted to have this done by the 1st. I do have, you can see, I have kind of a combination of Valentine and Snowy Winter up. I don't have my tub from the barn up here, my Valentine tub from the barn up here. I only have my Valentine stitching out and a few little pieces that I just bought this year. These little pillows were at Michael's, and I thought they were so cute. But I still have my trees, kind of my winter trees, and some of my icy winter greenery up, and I don't know. It's just kind of a mixed bag. I still have my Christmas village up above the TV because I decided I wasn't going to take that down by myself, and Brian just hasn't been around enough to help. Here's where I am on the monthly weigh-in. I still have to completely fill the scale in here with white. I have to finish the jar. I have all the hearts at the top to do. I have the roses to do. It's a lot. Yeah, I still have a lot to do. The house is almost finished. Yeah, I don't know. I have a whole bunch of projects in here because I ordered project bags, but they haven't come yet, and I am all out. And then I had ordered this probably before Christmas, and it had come. And one day I just was in the mood, and so this is Primrose Cottage Valentine's Day alphabet. And I also have, I love these Primrose alphabets. I also have maybe the Christmas one. I don't remember which one I have. I don't know which other one I have, but I think they're so cute. And so got a start and was just cruising away on this and realized I had royally messed up. So I am gonna make it work. So what I had accidentally done, I did the house, And then I started in the wrong place because next to the house is supposed to be next to the house on the bottom is supposed to be the letter U. The I is up here. Well, I started the I down here and finished this whole row and started coming back this way before I realized, well, there's not going to be room for the A. So I've moved the A up here, which means that I had to move the U down here. Anyway, I'm going to have to fudge it. It's still really pretty though. And I'm using all of the, everything that was called for, including the 32 count blush, which I got from Primrose Cottage. Then the other thing that is in here is after I finished the Be Mine and ordered a whole bunch of the Priscilla word art, I started completely differently than she had done it, but I started and got quite far on family. And so again, I was in the mood to work with silks. And so I pulled a bunch of different silks. This was done, the called for is black. It's like classic, one of the Classic Colorworks blacks. And I didn't want to do it in black. And so I found this gray. I'm using two different grays to do the letters, and then two different greens to do the vine up above. And I don't know if I love it, but I'm too far to back down now. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish it in this and see. So this obviously isn't done as a banner like that. It's just family, and I just thought it was really pretty. And yeah, so I don't know, and I could see myself redoing those letters and doing them like this, you know, and hanging them as a banner. So I have all of these things in here because I ran out of project bags. Okay, what's in here? Okay, this was a new start, and I will insert a picture of what this is going to look like here. And this is, I can't remember who did I find that? I'm sure I was watching somebody's floss tube and they recommended this designer. The designer is Tam, T-A-M, Tam Stitch Designs. They're on Etsy. This chart is called Cottage and Flower Garden. And I'm stitching it on 32 count Cedar River Albarium. And the reason I started this was that there was a Bringo call to stitch something from a non-US designer. And I couldn't find anything that I had on my WhipGo that wasn't by somebody from the US. And so I had bought this chart not some time ago, but a while back. And so I thought, well, I just have to start this. This is a UK designer. And there's my kind of pathetic little start to, I'm trying to figure out what little black things are there, but there's the upper right-hand corner start to this. And yeah, I think these are beautiful. She has a ton. I bought a couple of her charts. I think she was having a sale, and so I bought a couple different ones. And yeah, I really like her. Okay, the thing I've probably worked on the most is Alice in Wonderland by Al Forrest Embroidery. And let's go. Okay, so here it is. I can't, oofta. I know I said this is probably what I've worked on the most. This is probably, I don't know, this is a good, I would say at least, I'm gonna say 8 hours of work and maybe more, I don't know. So what did I do? Okay, it's all my work is up here. So I had started on these flowers. All of this was done. I had started on these flowers, and so I finished off these flowers. I did the teacup. I did the bunny. I did this teacup. I did the little mouse, who I think is just adorable. I did these flowers. I did the teapot, and the steam coming up from the teapot. And then what took a really long time was this lace. I suppose that's supposed to be lace that's down here. That took a while. And yeah, I worked on this for several days. Let's see, do I have a card in here? I don't have a card in here to mark the days that I worked on it. But I really thought I was gonna get, like halfway done, giving it 4 or 5 days. And boy, it is. Now, those days weren't whole, it wasn't like they were 8-hour days, but regardless, it was, yeah, it was a lot. So, I don't know. I think that's on WIPGO several times, and so it could get called again next month. I'm not giving up on WIPGO. I may take an hour today and work on the inn at Fox River, and I may take a little bit of time to work on the Four Seasons, between now and Friday. And I am going to do the WIPGO, I am going to do WIPGO again in February, but I think I'm going to change. I don't know. I think I think 4 to 5 days is too much, especially because I'm crocheting an Afghan for my niece, my great niece who is expecting, and the shower is February 22nd, and they live in California, and I really wanted to go out for that, but airline tickets were just outrageous, and the times. They live in Lompoc, and you have to fly into Santa Barbara, and from Omaha there are no direct flights into Santa Barbara, so it really takes about a day to get out there by the time and I really can only be out there for 3 days, and so it's really like one day when it takes a day. Anyway, I'm not going to the shower, so I'd really like to have the Afghan done by the 22nd. I don't know. I still want to do WIPGO. I'm still going to stick with it for now. We shall see. I have no idea what this is. This is here. Oh, this is Multiply Kindness. Okay, let me go back to Bringo, because this was kind of interesting. So what I tried really hard to do for Bringo, and I think the only time it didn't work was for that tam piece, that full coverage piece, was I tried to use only things that were on WIPGO to pull from for Bringo. And so Multiply Kindness is one of my WIPGO things for the year. It didn't get called for January, but it is one of my WIPGO things. And is it on here multiple times? I feel like it is, but I could be wrong about that. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's only on here once. Anyway, I used it. So let me tell you how many times I worked on this. So I used it for on January 9th, which was call number 9, and it was supposed to be a whip or a new start with a border. So this has a couple of borders, so I used it that day. And then I used it again on January 14th, which was number 17, and it was a whip or a new start related to your name. Well, I wasn't sure, I'm like, how do you do that? Okay, well, this is Multiply Kindness, starts with a K. My name starts with a K. There we go. So I did it again for that day. Then I did it a third time on January the 10th, which was call number 25, and it was a whip or a new start with more than 10 colors, and this definitely does have more than 10 colors. So really all I worked on was I worked a little bit on this bow up here. Not a little bit. I worked, and see, here I am leaving my needle. This bow, it's so pretty. It has 3 different colors in it, right? 3 or 4. Yeah, no, 3 different colors in it to give it the shading. And it's not quite done. The third color's not quite in there. I think I may have worked a little bit more. Maybe I did a couple more of these. I'm not sure. I started the letters down here, and then I worked on this border because I wasn't sure if working on something with a border meant you had to work on the border. So I did quite a bit more of this border, and I got some of the numbers filled in, 1 through 4. So I love this piece, and it really is a lot of fun to work on. And yeah, I hope, man, I might have to add that to WIPGO, or I don't know, maybe this will be one that once it gets added to WIPGO, you know, maybe once it gets added to WIPGO, I can work on it for a good 5 or 6 days or a whole week or something like that. I wanted to show you, my sweet friend Sarah sent me this a whole bunch of stuff, but this was one of them, her floss drops that she made with her So Me Sarah insignia on it. And this is called Multiply Kindness, and I thought, oh, that's so perfect to use for, and it has a gajillion colors, and she gave me quite a few of the floss drops. So I had started putting them on different floss drops, but I switched it over. But you can just see, I'm just bobbinating as I go, and aren't those colors just, oh, so pretty. Anyway, so, okay, guys, that is it. That is what I've done. We will see how much of this gets cut, how much gets edited out. We'll see how brave I am. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty brave today, but, you know, by the time I sit down and do the edits on this, I may or may not have the guts, but I think I will. So hopefully I haven't offended anybody. I kind of feel like if I have, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like that expression, sorry, not sorry, because yeah, so I'm not going to say that, but yeah, hopefully I haven't offended anybody. I hope you're all doing well. I have to run to the grocery store to get not to the grocery store. I have to run to the hardware store to get a new lock and keys for our gate that goes up to the barn, because I'm an idiot and I have lost one of the keys, and the contractors need a key. They've been working down there, still working on fixing the barn from the storm back in June. So they need a key and I need a key, and we can walk down to the barn, but we have not been able to get a vehicle up to the barn because we haven't had a key. And I don't like to go down there when they're working because I don't want to be in their way. And they've been up high, putting new paneling up high, and yeah, I don't like to bug them. So, I have a car that is filled with boxes of Christmas stuff that need to be put away down there, and I'd like to bring the Valentine's tin up. So anyway, I'm just gonna have to go get a new lock and key and keys and do that, and pick up a few other things, and then so I'll probably edit the video and start uploading it, and then I'll do that, and then I have an appointment at 2 o'clock, and it's supposed to be 59 degrees today, and I wanted to completely muck out the chicken coop. I was going to do that yesterday, and I ran out of time, and anyway, you know, it's just like everybody else, just busy, and all good stuff. So hopefully I have some time to stitch later today. I hope you're well. I hope you're getting some time to stitch. I hope people are getting some decent weather everywhere. I was watching, Sweet Stitcher from New Zealand, and she was talking about the humidity. I can't remember her name. Anyway, that it had been very humid there, and I can't even imagine that because I've just been nothing but cold for weeks on end here. But it's been sunny the last few days, which helps so much. So that's it. I'm going to stop rambling and quit with my Midwestern goodbye. I hope you're well. Take care. Enjoy your stitching, and I'll be back maybe in about a month. All right, guys, take care. Bye. Hey, friends. Just popping back on here really quick to go through my February WIPGO. I forgot to do that. And so as for those of you who do WIPGO, you already know the calls were 7 and 8, and I have 2 WIPGO boards, And so on one of them, what was number 7 was Home Together, the Home Together series. And number 8 was the Ocean View the Ocean View chart. And then on my other WIPCO board, it was Queen Bee and Hawthorne Hill. And so I'm going to show you those. So let's see. This is Hawthorne Hill, Karen Kluba, Rosewood Manor. Love it. So pretty. And I know last time when I showed you this, it didn't really, yeah, that's a better, that light is much better. And that's just how far I've gotten, not very far at all. So that'll be fun to spend some time on that and do a little bit of work on that. Again, I would like to give, my WIPCO stuff more time. But I don't know. And then Ocean View is the unabuenapieza.com chart. I call it UBA. And it looks like this, and I just love it so much. And my measly little start down here at the bottom. And so, yeah, that should get a little bit more time. Fantastic. And then this is called the Home Together series. And again, it is a whole series by Jeanette Douglas. And this is the first one. I'm doing them all as one. And home is where your heart is. And I am that far along. So it would be really nice to be able to spend enough time on this and get block 1 finished. That would be fantastic. And then Queen Bee is another one I'd really like to get done. But I think her dress is pretty intense. And so it'll be interesting to see how much of that I get done. I love the color of this fabric, but it's really stiff. Anyway, so that's where I am on Queen Bee. And so even if I get, a little bit more of her dress done or whatever, that'll be nice. So, okay, so that's my WIPCO for February. We'll see how we do. Take care. Bye, guys.